got the DVD out, and I think it was just me and the librarian were the only two people there. It was absolutely dead. I think I've seen crypts with more life in them than that place. So I asked her what, she said you haven't got many customers. She said something to her, I couldn't understand what she was saying. But yeah, I don't know what the story is there. I suppose it was only open on Monday, so people probably haven't got the message yet, but there's not much else to do up here, so I suppose you can't go to the pub. So anyway, like I said, I couldn't understand her explanation anyway. The Asian lady, I don't know whether she had an accent or just deaf as a post, probably a combination of the two. So anyway, I got the DVD and finally get my cousin and friend in Brisbane off my back and watch the bloody thing. It better be good. Not that it costs anything, because it's freebie. So anyway, yeah, it's quiet around here too. It's definitely quieter than usual at the bus stop. Anyway, yeah, the wind's sort of swirling a bit. It's not sort of going one direction. It's hard to pick, but it's not so bad now. There's a poll out just recently about what people thought of the shutdowns of the states, and it looked fairly emphatic that I'm totally out of touch and that basically most people are quite happy to have the states shut down. But then I checked out who actually conducted the survey, and it's a progressive think tank, in other words left wing. So I would not be surprised they've got an agenda to push the fact that they want shutdowns. So it all depends how the questions are framed. The sample size was really small, it's only 1,000 people, and then they had sub lists of people from each state, so they're even tinier samples. I would question the methodology and I'd question the sample size, so I don't know if I'd hold much water with that particular survey. And that's what you've got to do when you see these things. It's like Sticks 666 always says when he looks at the popularity of American leaders, he goes for an amalgamation of a lot of polls. He doesn't want, he says one poll doesn't mean a damn thing. You've got to look at a whole set of polls and get an average, and I think that's very sensible. So look, I could be totally out of whack with public opinion too, but this poll I don't hold that much water with. I don't hold much water with the news polls now. They've been inaccurate, and the media's already jumping on them as if they're gospel again. So it's just quite bizarre. After such a disastrous showing they had after the election last year, now the media just seems to want to forget about that and treat them as gospel. It's just crazy. But you know, nothing surprises me with what the mainstream media does. Hopeless. That's why I get most of my news from YouTube, from what I regard as reliable sources. And I think everyone should do the same. They should find out who they think are the right people, check their credentials, and there's no doubt we do go and get source information from like-thinking people. We're not going to, but I listen to people like Tim Poole, who's actually more left of centre on certain social subjects, social issues than I am. And but when it comes to the economy, he's probably closer to what I would think. Sticks is much closer generally. So it just depends, but I don't mind having someone with slightly different opinions that they're prepared to frame an argument. But when they just yell at you and abuse you, which a lot of these people do, online especially, which takes no guts, especially in places like Twitter, I just will not buy into that. I don't even use Twitter for that reason. So it's just not worth the effort. I find that most people on YouTube pretty good. I have had some people abusive, and again it's from sites that are fairly left of centre, but they can't make a coherent argument. Their default is to go to abuse. Actually, I found it on the Sky News one in Australia. That's happened to me, where I'll put comments in, and there's been people there who just are trolls. They're just always trying to get a rise out of people, and they don't really make good arguments. It's just abuse. Although I haven't seen as much of it recently. They've been pretty quiet. So probably because of all this lockdown stuff, I don't know, maybe they've gone into their holes. I'm not sure why they've gone quiet, but I certainly haven't noticed any of those people online since. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what's happened to them. Yeah, one of the unexpected bonuses from this coronavirus is that because people aren't going overseas, our current account surplus is quite healthy. It's about 8 billion. I'm not sure if that's over a quarter or a month, but I was just watching a video from Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics, and he said that international travel, of course, has dropped off by 99%. No great surprise there, I guess. And what's the consequence of that is that $2.5 billion, I'm pretty sure that's the figure he quoted, is actually staying in Australia rather than going overseas. That's how much people are spending OS, apparently. So I'm not sure how that figure was calculated. I guess it's just money going out of the country, I guess. I don't know. Not sure how they determine that, whether they're just talking about airfares or booking accommodation. I guess they'd have figures on that too for overseas. You're doing Airbnb or booking.com like I do, there's always a paper record. So yeah, although it's slightly understated, the last 3 weeks of my booking and the last trip, actually I booked directly through them, so they wouldn't have had the information on that. But I'm not sure how they get that figure, but that's what he reckons it was anyway. And he's a real stats savant, so that's his area. Pretty dry at times, but he knows his stuff. Yeah, they seem to be having a little bit of trouble getting this security gate built for the block of flats I live in. One of the guys on the committee, the body corporate committee, came up to my flat last night about 8 o'clock. So I heard this light tapping. I wasn't sure whether it was on the big screen or it was actual real. So I almost didn't check because the sound's so good on the TV. It's, you know, it could have been a sound effect, but it wasn't. It was the guy, and he gave me a remote control for my non-existent car, so to get access to it. And I checked the letterbox today, and there's actually a code there for access, but the guys putting it together are having real problems, so they're still working on it. He claims it was shut yesterday, but I've seen no evidence of it actually being there at all. So, oh, having a bad run here with the traffic. Copped it, the other one over there. Oh, come on, move. Oh, that's better. Jesus, I'm going so slow, I thought I was going to get caught again. Oh, so annoying. Yeah, it's not much of a day today. It's actually clouded up again. And of course the wind, but it was worse yesterday. The wind was terrible yesterday. So, oh, just having a horrible run with traffic. You don't normally get up here. But yeah, there's this electronic gate thing. I don't know if it's going to be operating soon, but the body corp guy reckons, who lives in a flat near the pool down the end of the block, the rear of the block. He claims it was shut yesterday. I've never seen an operation, just seen the side gate. So I don't know where it is. The centre must be pretty discreet because I couldn't even see where it actually goes. But anyway, they're still working on it. So, and hopefully it'll be in operation soon, which will be good. Oh, because he said that apparently people are going in using the pool just off the street. And I said to him, just everybody does it in Cairns. It's not just our place, and the pool we have isn't that great anyway. But he claims outsiders have been going in and using the pool. Again, doesn't surprise me. There's a few flats around where we are, so they may not have those facilities. It's unusual though. Most of the blocks do have their own pools. So, but yeah, like I say, it's not exactly unusual. There's worse things than that. It's more of a worry if they're going to nick stuff. That's what I'm more concerned with. And especially for some reason we don't have CCTV, which I think is dumb. But Oh, he did ask me if I wanted to be on the committee. He said there was a spare place. Of course, there always is a spare place, but most people just aren't interested in the bureaucracy. It's pretty petty. He seems like a nice guy though, so. But the trouble is, I'll be travelling again soon if and when we get flights out of this country. So we'll see. So I don't think I'm probably the best person to be on a committee given that. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.